So today we're looking at redox reactions continued, and this is the first slide of the PowerPoint, and we're together going to find the oxidation numbers, and then we have to figure out the electrons gained and lost by the reactants or the compounds on the left-hand side of the arrow. So starting with your oxidation numbers, we know we start with oxygen, which is -2 times the 4 is -8. So that means Mn must be +7 because we have a charge of -1. I'm going to fix that 8 a little bit here. A little bit more like an 8. Then we have -2 for oxygen here, times 3 is -6. Now this has a charge of -2, so that means S is +4. This would just simply be +2. This is going to be -2, -8, and then S will be +6. So we look to see where the electrons have changed from reactants to products. So if you look at Mn, it's +7 as a reactant, and it's +2 as a product. So we draw an arrow like this, and for it to go down 5, that means it gained 5 electrons, because electrons are negative. And that's how we label it. Then using a different color, it doesn't matter if you use a different color, I'm going to compare my sulfurs. So we go from the S on the reactant side to the S on the product side, and you'll see it went up 2. So that means it lost 2 electrons. And that's how you find the difference in the electrons lost and gained. So now we're going to move on to the next page where we look at copper and iron. Before we go to the next page, we're going to find the oxidizing agent and the reducing agent. So the oxidizing agent is the whole species or the whole compound that contains the element which gained electrons. So if you look up here, we see that Mn gained electrons. So the whole thing, MnO4, with a -1 charge, is your oxidizing agent. Now, reducing agents lose electrons. So we can say that SO3, 2-, is our reducing agent. And your agents are always found on the reactant side, not the product. So moving on to this example, do our oxidation numbers. This is +2, this is 0 because it has no charge. This is 0, this is +2. So from this copper to this copper, it went down by 2, which means it gained 2 electrons. And then with the Fe, it went up by 2, so it lost 2 electrons. And anytime you're going to balance a redox reaction, you're going to have to do these arrows of the gain and the loss of the electrons. So now we're going to move on to the sample problem. With our sample problems, again, the first thing you do is have to do the oxidation numbers. So this is a 0, this is a 0, makes it pretty easy. We start with magnesium, which is a +2 because it's an alkaline earth metal. Oxygen's an O2. So from magnesium here to the magnesium on the other side, we have gone from 0 to +2, so we've lost 2 electrons. Then from oxygen to this oxygen, we've gained 2 electrons. Oops, that's not very easy to read. Fix that up. Then if you wanted to find the reducing agent, it would be the one that loses electrons. So reducing agent loses electrons. Oxidizing agent gains electrons. So in this case, this would be our reducing agent, and the oxygen would be our oxidizing agent. Moving on to the next sample problem. Again, we need our oxidation numbers. So this is +3, +1, +2, +2. So from here to here, oops, wrong one, hang on. From here to here, we've gone from +3 to +2. So that means we've gained an electron, because remember, electrons are a negative. Then if we go from here to here, we've lost an electron. Remember, if your charges go up, you see an increase, you've lost electrons. If your charge goes down, you've gained an electron. And again, your reducing agent in this case would be the Cu plus 1. Your oxidizing agent would be your Fe plus 3. So now to the last sample problem. We know this is minus 2, minus 8. This is plus 7. This is plus 1, plus 2, and this is minus 2. This will be 0. This will be plus 2, plus 1, plus 2, and minus 2. So hopefully it's the Mn and the S that we're dealing with. If you can avoid using your oxygen, it's preferred, but sometimes you have no choice, like you saw in example 1, because that's all we have. So let's look for the electrons lost and gained. So from here we went from plus 7 to plus 5, or 2, sorry, so we gain 5 electrons. And then from here, we're going to go from here to here, and we lost 2 electrons. So remember, if you lose electrons, that's the reducing agent. So your reducing agent in this case is H2S. Your oxidizing agent is the one that gains electrons, and that's going to be your MnO4-. Now make sure you understand this concept because it's the building block for balancing, which is our next lesson. Contact me if you need any help.